our turn surely. Old ghosts in the rafters still talk about the days that we came close, but the huddle feels different now. Every eye locked, every jaw said, we all know it's a new era in that two-tone blue. Hey, hope stay rising when they run on through. From the river to the ridge, yeah, that shall roll to Tennessee Titans, yeah, we're breaking through, passing the review, bigger things in view. This is our time in that two-tone blue. She's shocking plays in the driveway, pretending that the clock's down to 3. Mama yelling dinner, they're yelling touchdown. Dreams bigger than the hills they can see. Under those lights off Broadway, you can feel that rumble under your feet. Whole crowd leaning on one snap, praying for a story so sweet. It's a new era in that two-tone blue. Hosts stay rising when they run on through. From the river to the ridge, yeah, that shall roll to Tennessee Titans, yeah, we're breaking through, passing the review, bigger things in view. This is our time in that two-tone blue. Raise that flag high as you can. Every season's written in the hands of this band. We've known heartbreak, we've known almost. Now we're writing new chapters for the ones who want it most. It's a new era in that two-tone blue. Hosts stay rising when they run on through. From the river to the ridge, yeah, that shall roll to Tennessee Titans, yeah, we're breaking through, passing the review, bigger things in view. This is our time, yeah. This is our time in that two-tone blue. Oh yeah. New paint on the pylons, fresh name on the back of the jersey. Whole town humming on a Sunday. Like this time, it's our turn surely. Old ghosts in the rafters still talk about the days that we came close, but the huddle feels different now. Every eye locked, every jaw said, we all know it's a new era in that two-tone blue. Hey, hosts stay rising when they run on through. From the river to the ridge, yeah, that shall roll to Tennessee Titans, yeah, we're breaking through, passing the review, bigger things in view. This is our time in that two-tone blue.
What's up, Titans Nation? Welcome into the What's Shaking 615. I am your host, and if you see what we're talking about tonight, we are doing part 3 of around the NFL division by division. And to let everybody know, we are powered by Bailey's Barbecue. Bailey's Barbecue, smoking good barbecue. We are also powered by What's Shaking Sports Media. And we do have to give a quick shout out to our partners over at SeatGeek. You can use our code 615podcast. That is 615 PODCAST for $20 off your first order of $50 or more on SeatGeek.com or on the SeatGeek app. As I mentioned, this is part 3 of 8 around the NFL, division by division. And to give y'all a little bit of an idea of what we're talking about tonight, here's this. That is right. We are talking about the AFC South, which is a division near and dear to my heart. As you know, my team, or our team, is in this division. But what team are we starting off talking about tonight? You want a little hint? Here you go.
Yo.
That is right. We are heading down to Duval County, Florida, to talk about the Jacksonville Jaguars. The Jacksonville Jaguars this offseason added a tandem in the running back room with Amir Abdullah and Chris Rodriguez, while drafting in the second round a tight end out of Texas A&M, Nate Borkacher. But in the process, they lose defensive lineman Mason Smith. So the question is, how does this affect Jacksonville's schedule? Well, here's Jacksonville's schedule right here. Week 1, you play the Cleveland Browns. Week 2, you travel to Mile High to take on the Denver Broncos. Week 3, you host the defending AFC champion New England Patriots. You then travel to Cincinnati, Ohio, to play the Cincinnati Bengals. Then weeks 5 and 6, you're playing back-to-back games in London against the Eagles and division rival Houston. Then you have your bye week coming back off of a 2-week stint in London in week 7. Week 8, you play another division game against Indianapolis. Week 9, you travel to Baltimore. Week 10 and 11, you're on the road at Tennessee at the Giants. Week 12, you host Tennessee. Week 13, you're at Chicago. Week 14, you play the Pittsburgh Steelers. Week 15, you're at Houston. Week 16, you're back in Texas playing the Dallas Cowboys. Week 17, you host the Commanders. Week 18, you go to Indianapolis. This right here, with what they've added, what they've lost, I didn't put every move they made this offseason in that graphic, because that they were taking up a lot of room and a lot of time talking through. So you're probably wondering, well, what do you have the Jaguars' record as? I think they go from being the best team in the conference or in the division to the worst team at 7-10. They win week 1, lose weeks 2 and 3 to 2 really good playoff caliber teams at Denver and then New England. And then they go on to win 3 straight at Cincinnati, and then both games in London against the Eagles and against the Texans. Because those games in London are basically home games for them. Because they've played in London so much, they've built up a fan base there. Then their bye week. They then go on to lose 3 straight to the Colts, at the Ravens, at the Titans. And then they beat the Giants, go on to lose 4 straight against the Titans, at the Bears, at home against the Steelers, at Houston. Lose, then you win at the Cowboys versus the Commanders, and then you lose to Indy to end the year. So I don't think that schedule favors them very well. It does in the early leg, before from weeks 1 to week 9, including the bye week. But then weeks 10 through 18 are not very favorable for them, because if you look, They only win 3 games. And they're back 9. And that back 9, they're only winning 3 games. So they're going 3-6 from week 10 to week 18. But then the next team we're talking about is a team that Titans fans know all too well. Y'all know who it is?
Country stand up. Cause country stand up. Blue wave don't stop. Blue wave don't stop. Cause country stand up. Cause country.
That is right. We are talking about the Titans' biggest rival, the Indianapolis Colts. So the Colts are coming off of a very interesting year. And I've talked a lot about the Indianapolis Colts, and a lot of them believe that Shane Steichen is on the hot seat. If he doesn't go out and produce this year, there's a very good chance that Shane Steichen could be gone. So let's just go look at what Chris Ballard and the Colts added this offseason. They took a former Titan in Nick Westbrook-Akine. Signed Cam Taylor-Britt, Jonathan Owens, Michael Clemens, and Arden Key to play on that defense. But the process, they trade away Michael Pittman Jr., trade away Zaire Franklin, and release Kenny Moore. In my opinion, 3 of their best players they release. So I cannot outweigh what they brought in versus what they lost. But the question is, how does their schedule look? Well, here it is right here. Week 1, you play Baltimore. Week 2, you go to Kansas City. Weeks 3 and 4, you're at home against the Texans. And then you actually travel to London to play the Washington Commanders as a home game. Week 5, you're at Pittsburgh. Week 6, you host the Titans. Week 7 and 8, you go to Minnesota, to Jacksonville. Week 9, you play the Cowboys. Week 10, you host the Dolphins. Week 11, you go to Houston for Thursday night. Week 12, you play the Giants. Week 13 is your bye week. I do not like how far that bye week is after their London trip. That's roughly 8 to 9. That's 9 weeks from their trip to London. 9 weeks. So they play in London in week 4. They don't get their bye week until week 13. Then they go to Philly, to Tennessee, to Cincinnati, and then end on a 2-game homestand against the Cleveland Browns and then against Jacksonville. Well, the question is, what does the record look like for the Indianapolis Colts? You take the Jacksonville record and flip it. Colts go 10-7. They lose the first 3 against the Ravens and then they lose at Kansas City and against the Houston Texans. They then go on to win 3 in a row. In London, at Pittsburgh, against Tennessee. They lose at Minnesota, win at Jacksonville, lose against Dallas, then beat Miami, lose at Houston in week 11, then they win against the Giants, then their bye week. From week 14 to the very end, they're winning 4 of their last 5 at Philly, losing at Tennessee, beating the Bengals at Cincinnati, beating Cleveland, beating Jacksonville. So I have the Colts going 10-7. And I just want to give everybody a quick heads up. We are powered by Bailey's Barbecue. Bailey's Barbecue, smoking good barbecue. And we're also powered by What's Shaking Sports Media. And I also have to give another quick shout out to our partners over at SeatGeek. You can use our code 615podcast. That is 615PODCAST for $20 off your first order of $50 or more on SeatGeek.com or on the SeatGeek app. Now, we got two teams left in this division. Where do you think we're going next? Are we going to H-Town or are we going to Music City? Y'all want a hint?
H-Town bounce, H-Town bounce. Hands up high when the trunk speaks out. H-Town bounce, H-Town bounce. Say my city name, let it roll right out. H-Town bounce.
That is right. We are heading to H-Town to look at the Houston Texans. So the Texans this offseason traded for David Montgomery from Detroit, signed Wyatt Teller, Marte Mapu from New England came over in a trade to play linebacker, and they draft Cade McDonald. In the process, they lose two very big focal points of this team in Joe Mixon and Jimmy Ward. So, you're probably wondering, what does Houston's schedule look like? Here it is right here. Week 1, Buffalo comes to Houston. Cincinnati comes to Houston in week 2. Houston goes to Indy in week 3. Houston will host the Cowboys in week 4. Go to Tennessee in week 5. Play against Jacksonville in London in week 6. Giants week 7. Bye week 8. So they get one game in between their bye week and their London trip. I'm okay with that. At least it's not like Indy where you play in London in week 8 or week 4 and you don't get your bye week until week 13. And then you go to the LA Chargers, to Cleveland. You host Indianapolis on Thursday night in week 11. Baltimore week 12. Go to Pittsburgh for Sunday night on week 13. To Washington in week 14. Jacksonville week 15. At Philly week 16 on Thursday night. You go to Green Bay for Monday night in week 17. And then you host Tennessee in week 18. If you look at that schedule, the thing that really stands out to me is they go to London, and then in the back 9 games, 4 of them are primetime. Thursday night in week 11 against a division rival in Indianapolis. Week 13, you're playing Sunday night in Pittsburgh. But then you have 2 games late December and early January at Philadelphia for Thursday night. And then week 17, you're at Green Bay for Monday night. What do I think Houston does? I think Houston's 11-6. You going into your bye, you're 4-3. Losing to the Bills at Tennessee and then against Jacksonville in London. But you win week 2 against Cincinnati, week 3 at Indianapolis, week 4 against Dallas, and week 7 against the New York Giants. Week 8, you're bye. Then you go to LA to win, go to Cleveland and win, host Indy with win in week 11 on Thursday night. Week 12, you lose at home against Baltimore. Week 13, you lose on Sunday night at Pittsburgh. Week 14, you win at the Commanders, beat Jacksonville, win in Philly on Thursday night in week 16. Week 17, which is the first weekend of January, you go to Green Bay for Monday night. The conditions that time of year are not favorable in favor of the Houston Texans. They go in and lose that game, and then they beat the Titans in Houston in Week 18. Now, there's only one team left, and that is...
Tighten up, blue in the blood, we don't give up. Tighten up, walk in the storm and we stand tall. Tighten up, say it with me, let the whole town rush. Tighten up, one fight, one voice, one rush.
That is right, we are heading to Music City to look at the Tennessee Titans. The Titans have had a decent offseason. Of course, you know, Titans fired Brian Callahan middle of the year. I want to say around week 6, week 7 last season. So what do the Titans do? They go hire Robert Saleh, who then goes on to hire Brian Dable as his offense coordinator. They bring in Wan'Dale Robinson, Mitch Trubisky, Cordell Flott, Alontae Taylor. And then with the 4th overall pick, they go out and draft Carnell Tate. But the process, you lose Lloyd Cushenberry, who failed his physical. Trade T'Vondre Sweat for Jermaine Johnson. Kevin Zeitler leaves for free agency. You release L'Jarius Sneed, who goes back to Kansas City. Well, you're probably wondering, what does the Titans schedule look like? Right here. Week 1, you host the Jets. Week 2, Philadelphia comes to town. Week 3, you go to the New York Giants. Week 4, you go to Baltimore. Week 5, Houston comes to town. Week 6, you go to Indy. Week 7, you play the Browns. Week 8, you go to Cincinnati. Then you're bye in Week 9. Week 10, Jacksonville. Week 11, you go to Dallas. Week 12, you go to Jacksonville. Week 13, the Commanders. Week 14, you go to Detroit. Week 15, Indianapolis comes to Nashville. Week 16, you go to Vegas to play the Raiders. Week 17, Pittsburgh comes down. Week 18, you go to Houston. I'm very high on this Titans team this year. There's a lot of people that are not. There's a lot of people that have the Titans going 7-10. They have them in that 6 to 8 win range. This is how high I am on this staff that Robert Saleh has built. I have the Titans going 13-4. Coming out winning the first 5 games of the year. Losing at Indianapolis. So going into the bye, I have the Titans at 7-1 going into the bye week. The back end of the schedule, I have them going 6-3 with losses to the Cowboys, the Commanders, and then at Houston, which means you're going to Jacksonville and winning. You're beating Jacksonville at home in Week 10. Going to Jacksonville and winning in Week 12. You go to Detroit and win in Week 14. Beat Indy Week 15. Go to Vegas and win in Week 16. Beat Pittsburgh Week 17. Which is your final game, home game, regular season home game, in current Nissan Stadium, is Week 17 against the Pittsburgh Steelers. So I have the Titans going 13-4. But one more quick shout out to us being powered by Bailey's Barbecue. Bailey's Barbecue, smoking good barbecue. We're also powered by What's Shaking Sports Media. And we have to give a quick shout out to our partners over at SeatGeek. You can use our code 615podcast. That is 615PODCAST to get $20 off your first order of $50 or more on SeatGeek.com or on the SeatGeek app. Well, you're probably asking, how does the AFC South stack up? And here's how. We have 2 of our top 4 seeds solidified. And you have one of your wild card spots locked up. The Titans take the AFC South. Houston slides in there in the 2 spot. Indy in 3, Jacksonville in 4. I hope I'm right on this, but there have been things I've been wrong about. There are things I've been right about, like the time that the Titans traded up to draft Traylon Burks. But have to give everybody a quick reminder, next Thursday we are taking a trip around the opposite South in the NFC, talking Buccaneers, Falcons, Saints, and the Carolina Panthers. Next Thursday night, 8 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Central, which I went an hour early tonight. I just realized that. But I hope everybody will come hang out. And if you try to watch this, yes, I did go a little earlier. But we are taking a trip around the AFC South this week. Next week, it's the NFC South. But Titans fans, you don't have to go home. But you can't stay here. Stay classy and tighten up.